Okay, we're back. So we went ahead and put together a B flat E cage, and we have it right here. B flat was just an arbitrary key. If somebody says, "Can you play in any key and fit it to one of the dots?" Not an interval, because if it's caged, cage is the key of C, the key of A, the key of G, the key of E, or the key of D. Then you can fit it to intervals dots, between two dots, and it's easier. But the beauty of this particular diagram and this dot circle is it can fit anything to any key, any dot to any key. So why would we make this thing like this? What I want to do is, so we're good with this is the E shape in the key of B flat. And I just wanted to mention before we leave the subject that, so if you have the E shape there encaged, to the right of that you'd have the D shape, to the left of that you'd have the G shape. So if we're looking at B flat, okay, and A is the seventh of B flat, to the left of E is the G shape. So the sixth of G is what? It's the G right there. Excuse me, the sixth of B flat is the G. So between the G and the A dot there, we should have, excuse me, between the G and the B flat is right there. So let's see if we can't clean up the drawing. Here we go. So here's our B flat. We have our E-shaped B flat 7 root 2. We use the A dot as the seventh with the 7 shape. To the left, encaged of the E shape, is the G shape, C-A-G-E, E-G. That would start on G. So you could start on the G dot. You say, hey, G's the sixth of B flat. Let's start on the G dot. 6, 7 root. You can do it that way too. The reason why the dot circle had to be made and has to be explained. Just look at it generically now. We're not going to hone in on any particular dot. We're not going to hone in on any particular key. We're going to make a modal scale. Root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's an Ionian scale in the key of C. Root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then back to root again. But it's not any particular key. It could be the key of B flat. Alright? So here we have a major scale here. Each of these shapes now is going to sort of spell the word caged. If we start on the C's here, we got C-C-A-G-E-E-D. So it's C-A-G-E-D. Caged. There. Fit everything to caged and you'll be alright. You just have to, fudge it a little bit. So it's still caged. Alright? Now the reason why we have the string patterns right here is because these are going to be where you find the notes. So let's look at root. Here's our root note, and I've outlined that in yellow. And there is the root note. This is the string pattern you'd use to hone in on that root note. Okay? We're just looking at the circle now. Don't worry about which dot it is. But, look, yes, we do have to worry about which dot it would be, obviously. The second, we would use the D pattern, the D string pattern. The second would be this note in that string pattern. Okay? So if the dot is the second of the scale, then we would use the D pattern. The dot would be here. So this is where the dot is. This is where the dot is. The dot becomes this colored note. So when we move to the third, if the dot is the third, it would be this. This would be where the dot is. So that's the dot circle. As you can see, it goes around. And even with the fourth, we still have that. We would use this. We would reuse the C string pattern. Okay, because we're using the first note in the string pattern. Here we're using the second note, but we tend to shy away from using the outer notes. But the best example of using the outer note to hone in on a dot would be the G pattern. Okay, so yes, you can use the outer note to hone in on a dot. If you consider, say you want to play in the key of A, so you look at the dots on the sorry, let's look at these dots right there, easier. Here's the key of A right there. Okay, so if you want to use the G pattern, the G pattern has the root on the outer note. You can choose that as the outer note, you know what I'm saying, and say, okay, so that that would be considered the root at that point. But the dot circle is kind of justified towards using the inner note to start the pattern. So we're going to start the pattern from the dot, or we're going to start it from the one of the notes in the pattern. Okay, so you're only really having to go to the second note there. And look at 7 and root, and look at 3 and 4, and in the cage circle, okay, in the cage circle, as you know, with the cage with the note sharing, you know, you get used to the sharing of those two notes, the 3 and the 4 and the 7 and the root. So coming around here, we have our A shape. So if the dot would be if the dot is on the 5, we use the A shape. Okay, so you fit the note to the A shape. So remember, we're going in a major scale here. Root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have it, could do in any key. You just have to fit the dot to that key. So an example, I don't know, would be the B dot. Okay, if you have the B dot, how we would use the B dot, what would the B dot be? Let me see if I can get both of the everything in one view here. So way down here we have our little B dot. Okay, here's the B dot. What is B? B would be the 7th of C. Okay, so over here you'd use the E pattern for the 7th. It would be the 7th of C. Okay, B is the 7th of C. If we want to find it on another pattern, it would say the 6th. What is B the 6th of? B is the 6th of D. Okay. B is the 5th of what? B is the 5th of E. B is the 4th. You know, you see how this is working, right? The 4th of F sharp. So we could use let's talk about F sharp. So somebody says, you want to play in F sharp. Okay, cool. I mean, I guess so, you know, F sharp. F sharp, the key of F sharp. Got a few, it's got a lot of, but it doesn't have as many accidentals as the key. Yes, it does. It has, the one thing about the key of F sharp is the pentatonic scale is all of the accidentals. So we've used up this segment, but we do want to talk about the key of B here. So we look at the, in F sharp, B would be the 4th. So we would use the C pattern there. Okay, so we would just fit the C pattern to that fretboard. So here's how we fit this in. Alright, so the 4th of F sharp is going to be our B dot right here. I didn't stretch it out right. Sorry about that. So thanks for watching. Click the link below to request access to the Facebook group, and we'll see you next time. We'll talk all about this stuff again.